All right, let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every week. His name is Mike Reyes. He is a cyborg from the year 4000, and he has a robotic thing. I'll let you use your imagination. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com. Hey, buddy.
I mean, when you say robotic thing, that really doesn't leave much imagination, but that still works.
It could be a camera coming out of your back. It could be a fifth arm. It could be a lot of things. What were you thinking?
I don't know, but this whole fifth arm thing means there needs to be at least two others before that, and that's crazy.
That's crazy, man. That is just wild.
Yeah, because you can get up to three if you use the normal parlance, and that third one is usually that's where your mind would go. So now it's where are those other two?
Yeah,
you've already done the joke.
Anyways, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Reyes is on the line with me. As we're recording a little early this week. Officially, we're recording on Wednesday the 6th. We have some movies to get to. Real quick, I want to throw out something that's premiering tonight that I'm really excited about.
Oh, tonight isn't Friday?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I don't lie to people.
No, but I would think I didn't know if you were speaking in terms of, okay, when you're listening to this on Friday, it's premiering tonight.
Yeah, I get you.
Okay.
Okay, I get you. No, it's premiering tonight, as in Wednesday night on History. Dan Aykroyd has a new paranormal show.
Oh, now that sounds like it's going to be fun.
It's called The Unbelievable with Dan Aykroyd.
And that's just another one of those History Channel shows that tend to crop up. They've got History's Greatest Mysteries with Lawrence Fishburne. I think it's History's Greatest Heists with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
They have all these shows that are basically here's the history behind this niche. Yeah, History's Greatest Heists with Pierce Brosnan.
Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com is on the line with me right now as we dive into the world of entertainment. So, yes, going back to the point of all this, Dan Aykroyd, The Unbelievable, apparently kind of out now on History Channel. In the way of movies, Mike, you've seen a couple of the ones that are coming out this weekend. Where do you want to start this week?
Guess we could start with Poor Things, because that's probably one of the big ones of this weekend, besides The Boy and the Heron, which I haven't seen yet. But yeah, Poor Things is kind of like a spin on a Frankenstein-esque story, and Emma Stone plays Bella Baxter, this woman who dies under certain circumstances and then is revived by a scientist played by Willem Dafoe. And then we see her journey developing in life and sort of becoming a self-actualized person. And not only is it a wonderful journey of discovery, it's also damn funny.
This is the one that the trailers are kind of kooky, right?
Yes, and this movie is definitely kooky. It is very frank. It is very upfront with what it is. It's very open with everything. Sexuality, feminism, everything. It's just it's a very open book sort of movie that isn't afraid to delve into its subject, but also doesn't hit you over the head with it.
Okay.
It very much feels like it's one of those slice of life movies where you feel someone moving through their life and through important times and learning the lessons that they need to become a person.
Okay. I'll tell you this much. If there was ever going to be a Dr. Frankenstein type character, William Dafoe kind of fits that.
So it's based off of a book. I don't know if this is part of the source material or not, but the way that I sort of read this movie going in was that Frankenstein's monster sort of evolved and became a creator himself.
Oh, interesting.
And then did this. That's my personal reading. I don't know if that's how, again, the original novel is, but Yorgos Lanthimos and Tony McNamara are the writer-director on this. They also work together on The Favorite, which is also a movie that I highly recommend. So that'll tell you a lot about what you should expect with this, because it's very witty, sharp, cutting dialogue. There's also some certain profanities that they love using that are used quite a bit here. And then I will also add that Mark Ruffalo is the biggest damned dandy in this movie. He is a Victorian fop cranked up to 11. And he is doing so many wonderful things with this. And just pitting that against the whole world, but especially Emma Stone's Bella, they're fantastic together. And I love what he's been able to do in this movie.
Awesome. Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com. Poor Things out this weekend. Sounds like it's going to be pretty good. What else was on the list this week?
So I did see a movie that's going to be in theaters and on demand this weekend, Fast Charlie. and it is based off the book Gun Monkeys by Victor Gischler. I'm sorry, Mr. Gischler, if I pronounced your name incorrectly twice. But the main gist of it is a Southern crime noir, and it has Pierce Brosnan playing Charlie Swift, retired Marine who is who's a fixer that works with the local mob down in Louisiana. And, I'm sorry, he works in Orlando. He ends up going to New Orleans at one point, but he works in Orlando for a mob boss played by the late James Caan. And what ends up happening is some complicated circumstances arise when something looking like a regular hit turns into a big enemy action.
Okay.
So now he's got to go. He's on the run with a woman by the name of Marcy, played by Morena Baccarin, to try and figure out who did it, what's going on, and how does he get on top.
That's what she said.
Yes, it's a good movie. Yeah, pretty damn good movie.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
No, it's okay.
It was a good usage of it.
Yeah, if it was 2003.
Oh, shut up, Mike. It was
or
funny.
Or if your name's Steve Carell. Steve Carell owns that joke now. I don't take this. I take this very seriously, man.
Oh God! All right, so
but yeah, this is
real quick. You get to interview Pierce here in the next day or so, don't you?
Yeah, I interviewed the director Philip Noyce, who also did. He's probably more well known for a couple of the Jack Ryan movies. He did the two Harrison Ford ones. Also did The Saint, which I didn't get to talk to him about it, but I love The Saint so much. But yeah, I get to talk to Pierce Brosnan. And but of course with very strict caveats, because he really does want to focus on this film, and I can see why, because this is already starting to catch on with some critics.
Oh, cool!
And this is a nice, tight, like around hour and a half movie that flies. Like there's a couple points here and there where you maybe could stand to have a little more meat on the bone, but it's very quick and just energetic. Like I watched this a couple nights ago. And it was one of those things where it's like towards the end of the night, I'm a little bit tired, but it's like, no, I got to finish watching this. This is pretty damn fun.
You know, there was I forget what movie it was recently, but it was like an hour and a half movie. And it was a breath of fresh air. Like it was in, it was out, it told its story and it was done. And I was like, man, I miss shorter movies.
No good movie can be long enough. And no bad movie can be short enough.
I get it. But it's a nice change of pace from, some of the, epics you have to go into,
Yeah.
I get it. Yes, I get it.
Yeah, no, I do get that. It's like you look at the Marvel runtimes as of late. So, and when they got to the Marvels and they're like, oh, it's under 2 hours, you could see why people were like, oh, wow, okay. It's like I understand. It's like some movies have really abused that running time stipulation. And then you've also got other movies like Napoleon where it's like, okay, you cut this down to like 2.5. I know you have a 4.5 hour cut waiting for me. And I'm not going to, I can judge your movie to a point because of that. Are you thinking about the Napoleon meme that's been circling around?
A little bit.
I like my meals. Destiny has brought me to this lamb chop.
Oh, God. Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. Any other movies coming out this weekend that we need to discuss, even if you've seen them or not?
The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki's latest anime masterpiece, which is apparently blowing people away. If you go see the English dub, you've got talent like Robert Pattinson. This is Christian Bale's second Hayao Miyazaki movie, because he also did the dub for Howl's Moving Castle. So Christian Bale, like, yeah.
The imagery I just saw, I recognize it now. I get what you're talking about.
And speaking of Willem Dafoe's in this voice cast. Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Mark Hamill, Gemma Chan, Karen Fukuhara, like some pretty recognizable faces that you've seen through various, comic book films or big franchises.
It's the same guy that did Spirited Away.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there's also Dan Stevens, Tony Revolori, and Mamadou Ati are in here. This is a pretty damn good cast.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic. Going to be in IMAX.
Okay. That was going to be my next question, is where to see it. So
in theaters. Yes, it is in theaters. It may be outside. It may be in regular format. I'm not sure. I'm seeing other things for both.
Yeah.
But obviously, something like this, I'm going to want to go see it on an IMAX screen. No question.
Cool. Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com. All right, so that takes us over to the entertainment news section as we crumple up the newspaper here.
There go the movies from this week. Oh no.
Do you remember? You remember when you had to look up movie times in newspapers?
Oh yeah.
It's
and
crazy.
I remember when they used to play the listings on the radio and then movie phone.
Yeah, movie phone. Yep. So,
Go to the movie phone.
You know, I don't know what the biggest story of the week is, but I know the one I want to start with because it's kind of just a neat, interesting, fun way of doing it. Ryan Reynolds, and again, we're recording on Wednesday, put out a post on his social media this morning about how to handle spoilers and that sort of thing. It was a very well-written and very interesting approach from a guy like Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah, and to be more specific, it wasn't exactly spoilers like going to see a movie. We're talking about set photos. Like, first of all, it's amazing that this stuff still kind of trades as much and as fast as it does. Because I know from our end, as like a big news source, we are not allowed to use those because we could get sued.
Yeah.
So to still have people sort of throwing that on the internet and some people actually still using it is just wild to me. But also, I don't want to know what's in Deadpool 3 right now. I have no problem waiting for the trailer, waiting for the movie itself. Like, it...
The long and short of the post he put up, and it wasn't in a sarcastic way that, you know, Ryan Reynolds would usually handle something like this. It was a very, hey, we're making a movie. Here's hoping to some websites that they're, and this is just part of it from the post. Here's hoping some of the websites and social channels hold back showing images before they're ready. The film is built for audience joy, and our highest hope is to preserve as much of that magic as possible for the finished film and the big screen. Part of the reason people post spoilers is because they're excited. I realize these aren't real world issues, and it's firmly in the good problems bucket. I love making this movie.
Yeah, that's the big-hearted energy that you've really seen him sort of commit to even more as of late.
I really hope he's not one of those guys that someday comes along that he's just an asshole, you know?
I hope not either, and I don't think that's the case because in interviewing him, he's not always that big ball of energy that you're going to expect. Like, he is more subdued.
Yeah.
Especially because I interviewed him for Free Guy. And it was very nice. He was just really nice, really thoughtful, great answers. And, yeah, I mean, I'd love to just hang out with the dude sometime and see what that turned out to be like.
It's just, he's one of those guys you just hope you don't get the story of, oh, man, he came in and, man, what a dick, you know, or what have you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So, interesting thing. And the photo he was talking about, there's, of course, been the leaked images of him and Hugh Jackman in the Deadpool and Wolverine costumes. And then, and I guess I won't spoil it. It was the head of another character that's going to be in this.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, like, we should really just kind of, it's a character that most people wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
But then some people are like, wow, this should have happened like years ago. Why didn't this happen before?
So, Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com on the line. What else is going on, Mike?
Oh, well, what else is going on today?
We talked about this earlier, and I'm just the same as Mike right now. I cannot remember what all we said we were going to talk about today.
Well, yeah, because we already did the Ryan Reynolds thing was sort of the big thing that came up. HBO did just put out like a short trailer of 2024, 2025 shows, and they did show the first footage of Welcome to Derry, the It spinoff, but there's not really a lot in there, but it looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's just like kids riding on bikes in Derry and a red balloon.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Yeah.
It looks cool, but at the same time, this is something that got pushed to 2025 because of the writer and actor strikes that happened this year. Because they were saying like, oh, that was going to happen next year, but nope, that's happening next year now.
Speaking of the trailers,
now.
This isn't really a news story. I completely forgot there was an Aquaman movie coming out.
Oh yeah, and there's a trailer that apparently there's an international trailer circulating right now that apparently flat out spoils a character's death.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Is it the character that there was some leak on it a few months ago? Because we talked about this.
It's not the kid, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah. That's what I was asking.
No. In fact, it looks like the baby is alive and well and may be part of a third act fighting set piece.
Real quick, what was the name of the first Aquaman movie? Was it just Aquaman?
Yeah, just Aquaman.
Because I saw Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I'm like, wasn't that like the name of the last one?
I think it was originally supposed to be the Lost Kingdom of Atlantis or something, and they just trimmed it down to the Lost Kingdom.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Aquaman 1's just Aquaman.
Okay. By the way, real quick, did you see him on Saturday Night Live?
No, I did not.
I didn't see the whole thing, but I stumbled across one of the skits where Momoa comes out, and it's like the ending of Castaway.
Oh, I thought I saw a thumbnail for the sketch being on YouTube.
It was really funny. Like, he's the guy that was cast away, and he comes back to see, the Helen Hunt character. The lady he lost, and her husband who's just, as white bread as they come. It was very, very, and they both take off their shirts at one point. Momoa starts doing the peck dance. Oh, he's very funny.
He is. He really is.
Are you not that much into the Momoa or what?
I'm into Momoa. I just haven't seen the sketch, so it's like,
okay,
I'm not there.
Okay,
but I get the potential. I'm just not there because I haven't seen it.
I got you. All right. Otherwise, other news items for this week. Do we want to talk about the Miss Marvel or the Marvels thing?
We could, because that ties into something else that I want to mention when it comes to Disney and the big screen. So,
okay.
Yeah, we could start with that.
All right. So one of the other stories that was out in kind of making headlines, kind of not, is the Marvels. Essentially, it's the worst grossing Marvel movie in history, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing it's the lowest grossing, overtaking the Incredible Hulk, which I think was the previous victor, so to speak.
So it seems like we've had little stories about this every week since it's kind of come out, because there wasn't enough supervision on set. There wasn't, this or that or the other thing. So with the money aspect of it, give us the other part of it.
Basically, what ended up happening is first of all, it just sounds like they are very much in damage control mode over at Disney. And it hasn't been a huge year for Disney in terms of grosses. Wish is not doing so hot from what I understand as well. Now, keep in mind what I'm about to say was shown on a Facebook graphic, but I wouldn't be surprised if crunching the numbers, it was true. Apparently, one of the only profitable films, just based on worldwide grosses this year, was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Wow.
And apparently, again, this is a Facebook graphic that floated around. It said that Disney had lost $1 billion this year in box office. I don't know if that's correct, but I know that Disney's definitely been in sort of a rough patch right now.
Yeah. I mean, you look at usually, Disney's just hand over fist making money with this stuff, and it's all stuff that it may not be great, but it's not often bad,
Yeah, I mean, bad enough that we're almost to the month mark since the movie was the 1 month mark since the film was released, and Disney's already said, like, after last weekend, we're not going to be reporting grosses anymore.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. It just circles back to the issue of creative and fan-based burnout, or supposed creative and fan-based burnout, when it comes to the MCU. And, this is the situation that's put us in a spot where we only have one Marvel movie coming out next year, and it's Deadpool 3. And who knows if that's going to hit the way it should.
God, just think if that tanks.
Oh, man. If that tanks, then there's definitely a problem that needs to be there's a deeper, root problem that needs to be addressed.
Like, they need to address this stuff and try and figure out what's going on.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what they're doing, and that's why and I wouldn't be surprised if that's why they pushed Captain America Brave New World, I think it's called now. Not only did they retitle the movie, but they pushed it to 2025 when it was apparently, I think they had finished filming it, And I don't know how much of the post production they had done, but it was pretty much like in a good spot that they could have released it next year.
You know what? Speaking of renaming stuff, I didn't realize the Agatha show got renamed like 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah, what is it like, Agatha CSI Miami at this point?
Pretty much. I don't know, man. That just it seems like they're doing a lot more wrong than right at the moment.
I don't know if it's totally a lot more wrong than right. I think it's just they may be heading into an image crisis. And it was originally Agatha House of Harkness, then Agatha Coven of Chaos, and now Agatha Darkhold Diaries.
Okay.
Which only means we're only a couple steps away from Agatha Gossip Girl.
Agatha and the Dial of Destiny.
Oh, don't wish that voodoo on me, Ricky Bobby.
Don't put that evil on me.
Oh, God. If that's what this turns out to be, I'm going to be really mad, because out of the very few things that WandaVision still gives me joy about, it was Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness.
No, she was great.
And now she's going to be facing off against or working with Aubrey Plaza and Patti LuPone, and it's like, okay, this is my type of energy.
From what they have on the docket right now, is there any movie that comes out and saves them? And I know that's
not going to be it's not going to be just one movie. It's not going to be just one series. It's going to be something that needs to consistently happen because of the fact that we've already got, we're at a point right now where Marvel is very inconsistent, and you got a heater of a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 this year. And then you got Secret Invasion, and you got The Marvels, and that was also after Quantumania, and that was also Secret Invasion. Did I mention Secret Invasion? Secret Invasion did happen this year, folks, believe it or not.
It was so awful.
I haven't even gone past that first episode.
It's legitimately the worst thing I've ever watched from Marvel.
It's tough right now. I can't think of, because right now what we've got coming up, according to the schedule, is we got Deadpool 3 coming. That's our only 2024 movie. 4 movies in 2025 with Captain America Brave New World, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Blade, but I'll believe that when I see it. Then we've got Avengers Kang Dynasty and Avengers Secret Wars, which were recently announced to be under the writing supervision of Michael Waldron, who wrote Multiverse of Madness, was also a writer on Loki, producer from Rick and Morty. Like, he took over the current drafting duties for the next 2 Avengers movies.
I have a Rick and Morty story, a side note here in a minute.
Oh, interesting. And then we've even got Tom Holland said in a recent interview he's not going to do Spider-Man 4 unless there's a really good idea for it. So that's not even a given at this point.
You know what, though? With the multiverse stuff they've set up, they don't need him. It'd be great to have him, but they don't need him.
Well, they need him if they want to have the MCU proper Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
Unless the only way that works is if you bring in Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Live action Miles Morales would be okay. We're Peter Parker. Tom Holland. We didn't come up with that good of an idea. Okay, we can just go off the Spider-Verse stuff, and here it works with our multiverse. It works with the animated movies. Let's make a deal.
So I don't know. It should be interesting. With Disney in mind, they're not really doing it per se, but it's on the channel, the Doctor Who stuff, right?
I don't know if they're co-producing, but I know that they're streaming Doctor Who on the US end, because it used to be on BBC America, but it wouldn't be streamed to be broadcast. And then there really wasn't. I think HBO Max was getting it through the 13th Doctor era. But yeah, now it's like Disney Plus. Disney's all in with Doctor Who and the BBC.
Did you like the new episode?
I did like the new episode, because it reminded me of when Russell T Davies episodes worked versus the ones that don't. This was I think I saw comparisons to Midnight with this one, and this is definitely an episode that felt like Midnight, where it was a confined setting, a creepier sort of creature, and like also the whole doubling aspect. But I'm not getting a lot of 60th anniversary vibes off of these specials. Like, I know they're technically supposed to celebrate the 60th, but when I think of like an anniversary special, it's like multi-Doctor stories and more fanfare and sort of just, it's definitely paying tribute to the series while also telling a new story that, builds onto the canon. And maybe this last one is going to be pulling out the stops with that. But so far, it's like it's been good, but it feels like Russell T Davies really wanted to bring David Tennant back for a series.
It seems like, you know what it seems like? It seems like, and tell me if I'm crazy on this, okay? A middle of the season set of episodes.
It feels like it's sampling from all sorts, because that first one definitely felt like a beginning of the season episode where, oh, we're setting up these obstacles and we've got this, that, and the other thing. And, oh, it's so good to be back, isn't it? And then today's was very much, this weekend's Wild Blue Yonder, that special was very much a prelude to season finale, like a penultimate episode that starts the two-parter season finale. But also, oh, this is like a big concept, like Midnight, a big concept episode where we're going to just keep it tight and we're going to have fun with it. And it's not going to be very story intensive up until the end.
I just hope they don't waste David Tennant. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Because it's just like, what, there really has to be a good reason why you brought David Tennant back and wasted a regeneration to do so.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So Mike Reyes from cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. We'll have more on Doctor Who probably next week. Otherwise, real quick, the Rick and Morty thing before we wrap up.
Okay, I got a couple other things after Rick and Morty.
I didn't finish a Rick and Morty episode.
Okay, I'm going to need more context and explanation behind this.
The new episode that came out on Sunday night, I've given it 2 tries to watch it, and I was uninterested in it. I didn't care, and I just never finished it.
Wow.
It was Ice-T was back, and it was like Rick's not even really in it. It's Morty, the one teacher who apparently now is, like a cosmic, teacher of some sort, and then Ice-T, and they're fighting the letters are fighting the numbers and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what it is about it, but it wasn't funny, it wasn't interesting, and I just turned it off. It's the first time ever. It's first time ever with Rick and Morty that I've done that.
Yeah, I haven't really watched it since like early in season 3, I want to say. I just kind of fell off, and it's like, I'll get back to it eventually, and never really did.
So, anyways, what are your other stories?
So, speaking of Disney and box office, they announced recently that they're releasing 3 of Pixar's movies into theaters for the first time, because during the early pandemic, you had movies like Soul, Turning Red, and Luca that became like Disney Plus exclusives. They didn't go to theaters. Those 3 are now going to be shown in theaters. Soul hits theaters January 12th, Turning Red February 9th, and Luca March 22nd.
I forgot, because we watched Soul on Christmas one day.
Yeah.
It was, and what was funny, but it was not a feel-good movie.
It's not exactly Pixar light and fluffiness. This is the deeper end of Pixar that people sort of expect. And I would probably need to watch it again myself, because I haven't seen it since it first came out. Luca, I was not a fan of, so I could take or leave that. Turning Red, I really want to see in theaters.
Yeah, you like Turning Red. I didn't mind Turning Red. It wasn't my favorite. My son really liked Turning Red.
Turning Red was so much fun, and then just watching that on streaming, and it gets to the end of the credits, and it's like, optimized for IMAX, and like 3D conversion done by, it's like, wow, this is what I'm missing right now. Yeah. I want a movie about a giant panda girl in IMAX 3D.
What else did you have, Mike?
Apparently Home Alone 3 is getting a lot more love on the internet right now, and I think it's about damn time it did.
What?
Yeah, apparently
Home Alone 3?
Yes, Home Alone 3.
That doesn't even have Macaulay Culkin in it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Why? Okay, why? I
don't know why, but people have said everything from being a guilty pleasure to just flat out being a good movie. Someone else even said Home Alone 3 was actually good, but the first one's a classic. Yeah, the first one is a classic. I get that. Home Alone 3 was good, though, especially for a movie that wasn't just trading in, let's bring the McAllisters together again, especially because that last one, Home Sweet Home Alone, they throw in the cameo from Buzz that basically says, yeah, the McAllisters never learned shit. And Kevin keeps calling him every Christmas with like a home invasion call, and his cop brother has to go and take care of it.
I was talking to one of my buddies this week, and Home Alone just in general has some really cool fan theories that come out of it.
There are interesting fan theories, and also I think in terms of Home Alone, I don't know if I like it as much as I did when I was a kid. There's certainly moments that are better. There's certainly really good moments in there. Like the moment that always sort of stops me and turns me around when I'm watching it is when he's there with the old man in the church.
Yeah, that's a good one.
When it gets to that moment, it's like, okay, maybe I'm a little hard on this. And then I go back and watch it again, and it's like, wait, this is still kind of okay.
The Home Alone 2, the one that always gets me because Kevin is just committing murder at that point, is when he throws the brick off the top of the... That should have just crushed his skull.
The tool chest.
Yeah.
The tool chest falling down. The tool chest falling down the stairs. That should have been a murder. And that's I think that's the reason I like Home Alone 2 better is it plays the same beats, right down to the pigeon lady, basically replacing the old guy in the church. But it's in New York, and it's bigger. And you've got Tim Curry and Rob Schneider and Dana Ivey. You've got all these wonderful comedic actors playing such buffoons at that hotel. And then again, just circling back to Tim Curry, just marvelous performance by that man.
Going back to the theories of Home Alone, I love the John Candy one, that he's the devil.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one.
I love that one. I love the one where
that just robs that moment of its specialness and of its kindness. It's like, oh, she made a deal with the devil to get home. Goodbye to your soul. It's like, no, these were weary travelers that met on the road.
I love the one where Kevin grows up to be the guy from Saw.
That's a pretty funny one.
What was the other?
There's also the theory that his dad worked in like defense contracting, and that's how he made all that money, which is kind of funny because Home Alone 3 is about a new kid fighting off these like would-be terrorists who are trying to get a missile guidance chip.
Yeah, there's that. There's that it's tied into Christmas Chronicles, which I would have loved if they would have done.
We talked about that because I think I wrote that feature too. That I don't know if they ever had plans to do it, but that feels like it was written that way. And all that, maybe they got cold feet or couldn't get the rights at the last minute. But that moment feels very much like this is supposed to be Catherine O'Hara from Home Alone. Like right down to they could have cast her in a cameo for that scene.
Yeah. I love that the possibility that those two are in the same universe. And then I always love the question, who would win? You give him a day prep time, the Predator or Kevin?
That is my favorite. That is my favorite one because I've seen that, and I would love that to be out there somewhere.
You know what the new one, it was on Radio Prep the other day. It was someone went through and they tried to figure out, someone made the joke of, I'm just surprised he got all those groceries for like $20. And they figured out what the price of the groceries were.
Oh.
So I'd have to, I don't know, I don't have it in front of me or whatever, but it was just kind of an interesting take. So
that is an interesting take because you have to wonder like how much it was for a toothbrush then versus now, or like a Lean Cuisine, or even the magazine he's thumbing through.
Yeah. So anyways, all right, we'll leave it there for this week. Mike Reyes from CinemaBlend.com joins me every week to talk about movies and entertainment and the world of the weird. Friends, follow him along, Mr. Controversy 83 on Facebook and Twitter. Mike, you have yourself a great weekend.
You as well. And don't forget to tune in next week, folks, when we pick Kevin McAllister against more of the monsters of cinematic history.